I'm not happy, sexy, and successful, therefore I'm not confident. And then it goes back into, I'm not this, I'm not confident. And it just goes back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. And so you never improve your self-esteem, you never improve your confidence because you think you have to have something in order to be confident. When the reality is, confidence doesn't come from being happy, successful, and sexy. Confidence comes from yourself. It's like when you're driving a car and you're looking at all the other cars that are driving around you. You see a Ferrari, you see a Lamborghini, and you think, wouldn't it be great if I could have one of those? I would be happy if I could just have that car. The reality is, if you're not happy in the Ford Mondeo and you're not confident in the Ford Mondeo that you're driving right now, you're definitely not going to be happy and confident in the Lamborghini. So we have to first start with ourselves. Tip number 1 of how you can improve your self-esteem and get more confident is do something you're good at. Now, this might seem really, really obvious, but I think a lot of us go through our lives finding fault with everything. We know we're not good at running, so we want to improve the running. We know we're not good at writing, so we want to improve our writing. We know we're not good at speaking, so we want to improve our speaking. You're listening to this podcast because you think you're not confident, and so you want to improve your confidence. We all focus on the things that we're not good at and quite often ignore the things that we are good at. Remember what I said earlier about this negative engagement loop? If you're constantly feeding yourself with all the things that you're not good enough at, or you could be better at, or you suck at, your brain is never ever going to acknowledge all the things that you are good at, that you do feel good about, that actually make you feel confident. And so the first thing that you need to do on this journey of becoming more confident is you need to figure out what you're good at and do more of it. You've got to think about this a little bit like a dog. Now, I'm not calling you a dog, but bear with me. When you're trying to train a puppy to do the right thing, to go to the toilet outside or to heel or to recall, you train that puppy with treats. That is a positive reinforcement. The same goes with kids. There's been loads of studies done that shows that children respond better to praise than to punishment. It's the same with your team, with your colleagues, with your husband, your wife. I promise you, you will get a better response from them if you praise them for good behavior versus punish them for bad behavior. And yet here you are, day in and day out, punishing yourself for the things that you're not good at. Why would you do that? Instead, you need to reframe how you think about things and identify the things that you are good at. If you enjoy basketball and you're really good at it, do more of it. If you enjoy horse riding and you're good at it, like me, do more of it. It sounds silly, and all of these things I've just mentioned might be hobbies, or they might not be. You might be really good at writing music and that's your job. Do more of that. The more you can reward your brain with the dopamine and that beautiful, lovely serotonin that makes us so happy because you've achieved something and know that you're good at it, the more confident you're going to become in other areas of your life. You've got to kind of see this as the foundation of your self-esteem. If you don't know what you're good at, how on earth are you going to find the confidence and the self-belief to try things that you might not be good at yet? So the first thing you need to do is work out what you're good at and do more of it. And do enough of it so that you feel really happy and confident in that thing. And if you're not quite there yet, for example, I would love to get much, much better at the gym, at lifting weights, etc. I'm good at it, but I could be much better. So I'm spending a huge amount of time at the minute in the gym perfecting it. That's not because I think I suck and, this is a terrible thing and isn't awful that I can't lift a certain weight right now. It's because I know I'm good at it and I want to get really, really good at it. There's some amazing traditions across the world, particularly in Japan, where people absolutely devote themselves to perfecting the thing that they're good at. And you need to see this the same way. Devote yourself to the things that you're good at, and the confidence that you will find in those things is going to help you with the stuff that you're not. The second thing that you need to do to build your confidence, your self-esteem, is you need to expose yourself to no. So what do I mean by expose yourself to no? Well, in our lives, we always want to seek out the yeses. We always want to look for the people who are going to agree with us, the things that are going to keep us in our comfort zone, and to be honest, keep us caged within the boundaries of our own lack of potential, right? We don't want to take a step out for fear of not being good enough or not doing a good enough job. But the problem with that is it might feel good right now, but it's going to keep you in that cage, in that hedge for the rest of your life, which means you're never going to improve, you're never going to get confidence, and you're never going to have any self-esteem, because why would you? There was an incredible study done in the 70s that identified a correlation between self-esteem and success with children that were rewarded and won things. This is where the participation medal comes from. You've probably heard of it. I have very strong opinions on it. If you haven't seen my opinions, Google Amelia Sordell participation medal and you'll understand what I'm talking about. But you would have heard about participation medal. You may have even received one as a child and you may have thought it was a wonderful thing. And all of those things in schools came from this one study that was done in the 70s. The problem with that study, though, is that it didn't look at the data in its entirety. It made a correlation between achievement and self-esteem resulting in more successful, more productive adults. What they didn't look at is how the obstacles and the challenges that those children had to get over to win those medals was actually the reason why they had high self-esteem and high success rates as adults. So what I'm trying to tell you here is, if you don't expose yourself to the things, the obstacles, the challenges, the opportunities where someone's going to say, no, you're wrong, or just no, other people's boundaries, you're never, ever going to have any self-esteem because you've never exposed yourself to obstacles, to challenges. The more you expose yourself to no, the more you expose yourself to people disagreeing with you, and the more you expose yourself to being wrong, the more confident you're going to be when you think you're right. And there are a few ways that you can do this. The first way, which I'm a huge advocate for because you don't really have to do anything or with anyone, is you can grab your phone, you can stick some headphones in, and you just start recording yourself walking around the street. You might want to talk into the phone, you might want to do a selfie, whatever it might be. But the idea of this is when you're walking around looking stupid, as you may think, with your headphones in, with a phone in your face, and people are looking at you, you're going to be feeling very uncomfortable. You're going to be feeling like, oh my God, everyone's judging me. Everyone thinks I'm crazy. Everyone's going to think I'm, full of myself, whatever it might be. The more you can do that and the more you can be confident in doing that in public, the more that's going to reflect into other areas of your life. I have a very, very good friend who now runs a really successful podcast, and that is exactly how she got into being so confident that she can now speak into a camera and on a stage and with really, really famous people, where she literally shoved a phone in her face and she walked around the street talking into her phone. You can do that. You don't have any barrier to entry for that activity. There is no money that needs to exchange hands. You just need a phone and a pair of headphones. You don't even need headphones if you don't have them or don't want to use them. You just have to walk around talking into your phone. And I do that all the time now. I vlog every single week, right? I have a YouTube vlog where I literally have a camera in my face all the time and people look at me and think I'm silly, but I don't care because I'm not trying to impress those people. I'm trying to do something for myself.